Hello everyone. Let's talk about things I wish I knew sooner as an artist. I've just been making art consistently for 5-6 years now, but I still think if I would have knew these sooner, my life would be so much easier. Number 1, not having enough time for art. It's totally normal to have those days where you just don't have time for art. I used to beat myself up a lot because if I'm not drawing daily, I'm not serious with my art and hence I will not progress enough. But I forgot the fact that life gets busy and not every day will be same. 5-6 years ago, I had so much more time because I was homebound. I had this extra time where I was spending it on drawing, making more art. And part two to that is if you're not drawing for 1 week, even a month or a year, it's still okay because it's still normal for an artist to give breaks in between their art journey. Not having time for art is totally normal. Every artist go through it at some point of their life, and if you are going through a period where you're not drawing more or you are not drawing consistently, it's completely fine. You can start again when you have more time. Number 2, what I wish I knew sooner as an artist is having messy sketchbooks. This is my most regret. Back when I started out as a beginner, focusing on a final piece was my most goal. But what I was lacking behind was not utilizing sketchbooks to make that finished art. I always saw sketchbooks from other artists, mostly through online. That was my only way of accessing somebody else's sketchbooks. And what I saw, they have very aesthetically kept, finished drawings almost in a sketchbook. But when I started using sketchbooks, my sketchbooks didn't look like that. They were messy, they were not aesthetically pleasing, and I was feeling so insecure about my sketchbooks that I stopped keeping one. And it took me a lot of years to understand sketchbooks are a sacred place. It's a place where you experiment ideas, your sketches, you draw for fun there and plan out compositions. I also started to notice that I draw more because the sketchbooks are smaller and easier to carry with me, and I can just sketch wherever I want. You can always get the expensive art supplies, but start with what you have now. That was a mindset I had to dismantle a lot. For me, I couldn't able to draw hair that well, like render hair with pencils, and I used to blame it on the pencil. I used to say, I don't have black wings, so I can't really shade better hair because my pencils are kid level and I can't draw with them. But 5-6 years later, now I completely know that it was just an excuse. I couldn't able to shade better because I was not pushing myself first of all, and the second thing is I lack the practice. When I started to draw with whatever I had, I improved. I still don't use very expensive art supplies. I use moderate level of art supplies. They are okay quality because I want to save my art in the long run. This month on Patreon, we're actually doing something really related to that. We are testing to push our limits with these kid pencils to check if we improved over these years or not. I'm very excited to experiment. I yet to do it, but I recently just bought some pencils that I used as a kid, and we will experiment with them, trying to push their boundaries. Next, what I wish I knew sooner, I would have been so much happier as an artist. When you're creating something, always tell yourself that you don't have to be a cool artist. That's what I say to myself all the time. Right now, we as a human are too much influenced by external things, things that are shown in social media, and sometimes it influences in the wrong way. So to be a cool artist, I used to draw these cool things. The moment I started to stop doing it, rather than drawing from my ego, then drawing from what I have been feeling, every time I draw something, I push myself a little bit, like go deeper inside my feelings and create from that. It's very uncomfortable, to be honest, but the moment I started to do it, started to create art, then what's popular, adapting this kind of a mindset really helped me not only to be better artist. Like, I don't think it really helped me to be a better artist, but it helped me to feel good about what I'm making. If you want to be confident about what you make and be happy about what you draw, start making art for you. Start making art first for you, then about others. Most of the time, when I feel stuck, I fear the judgment of others. I can't make this because then I will be judged for making this. If somebody sees it, they will judge me because of what I created. It was really, really hard for me to not think about it, and it always make think twice about what I want to draw. But what helps when you say to yourself, today you are just going to make art for yourself. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but when I make art, I generally share it on public, like social media, because I have an Instagram. Even if you're not sharing with publicly on social media, but just your family or friends going to see it, this mindset really helps me. So I always think that it's not in my control how others will feel about my art, but what I will feel from my own art is in my control. So I always recommend people who feel stuck and fear the judgment of others, start to create art for you first. It's okay and necessary to keep creating even when you haven't found your art style yet. And I think it is a very universal problem as an artist. When you're a beginner, you don't have a signature style yet. You don't know which mediums you like, which subject you will focus on. So I keep creating with different mediums, keep experimenting with different ones, and then I found a certain medium that I liked. I tested out various mediums, ink, pencil, paints, and then I found out about mechanical pencils. Once I started creating with them, I instantly fall in love with them. So it takes a lot of time to figure out your own art style. So never stop creating when you feel stuck. Do experiments, look out for subjects that you have never done before, draw different subject matters and see which one really stick with you. When you do a lot of experiments with your art and experiment with a lot of subjects and mediums, it's also normal to have a lot of unfinished artworks. I have so many artworks in my studio that are just abandoned. Started working with a medium I thought I would love, working on a subject I thought I will love, and I grew out of it. So I left it, never came back to that art piece. So it's an undone art. I also have bigger artworks that are just unfinished because I was loving the art when I was making it, but then I gave a little break. And when I started making other subjects, started working on other things, I found them more interesting. So I abandoned that piece. I used to really, really beat myself up, curse myself, thinking that I'm a bad artist because I leave my art unfinished. But it is totally normal, because if you are trying to find your art style and trying to find your mediums and your subject matters, you do a lot of experiments and you will bound to have things that doesn't really work. And when I look back at them, I still love them. I still think they are very good art. I still can feel the emotions in there, but they are just not the art I will make now. Start small. I always tell myself now to start small. Draw on a smaller sketchbook first before you leap into the finished piece. That helps with figuring out the idea and mapping out the idea more than leaping into your finished piece and making a mess in there. And lastly, if you don't have time for art, start small. Create a small time frame. I generally do 15 to 20 minutes sessions where I put a timer on for 15 minutes and I start drawing. just for 15 minutes. If I want to go more, I go more. If I don't have time, I stop there. But at least I will do 15 minutes where I wouldn't have drawn for any amount of time. If you like to draw a new subject, start by creating a small sketch of it. Draw it small first and see whether you like that subject or not. This way, you can draw more efficiently, save time, explore messing with different subjects and mediums. Felt like I have talked for a while, so I'll stop now. For so many of us, making art is a creative outlet, and for some reason, when we can't do that, it's such a bad feeling. It really stresses me out. So I wanted to make this video in hope that somebody finds it helpful in their creative journey.